I would like to start this video by saying, as a person born in '99, I grew up with a lot of these shows that's been the topic of discussion everywhere lately. What I'm specifically referring to is Quiet on the Set, an HBO documentary about the dark secrets and situations of Nickelodeon. Two specific people coming to mind immediately would be Dan Schneider and Brian Peck. I grew up watching Nickelodeon, Disney Channel, and Cartoon Network. I loved cartoons, just like I loved anime. But I loved anime. I loved anime slightly more. But I grew up on Nickelodeon, Cartoon Network, and Disney Channel. But unfortunately, Nickelodeon is the forefront of this right now. This just leaves a bad taste in everyone's mouth who was born around the same time as I am. It sucks, I know. But this is a realization that everyone has to come to when it comes to child actors and the lack of protection of them. The lack of protection of children in general. Remember, they're children first before they're actors. And that's a harsh truth that we have come to realize growing up as adults now. When we were kids, we didn't realize that a lot of this stuff was going on in the background. We would just see our favorite shows, our favorite jokes, our favorite entertaining things on the television screen, and we had no idea of the Hollywood acting world on these kids. But this is something that needs to be discussed, and it needed to come forth our eyes, because it exposes a lot of things that should come to light and should have came to light a long time ago. A lot of these people in these networks, in these high positions, specifically people being in the position that they have been as long as they have, they're so used to their power and influence. Watching this documentary gives you a taste of what power is. It's the ability to get what you want, not just physically, mentally, emotionally. It's definitely taxing mentally and emotionally, not just physically. You don't have to be SA'd to go through what power is and the abuse of it. Mentally and emotionally, you don't even have to be touched. It's just the influence of knowing that you probably just can't do anything about it, even if you wanted to fight it. But shout out to all the brave souls that came forward and shared their stories, shared their opinions. It's just essentially saying what we already know. There are secrets going on. Things did happen, and it's very believable. It is very believable. For years, I am 24 years old right now. For years, ever since that I namely like stopped, like I transitioned from watching cartoons to watching anime, like 100% of the time. I pretty much figured that a lot of things were going on ever since I started like watching YouTube more as well, because the original thing that I saw was a video showing weird jokes on Nickelodeon, and mainly about iCarly, right? Because iCarly is probably my most favorite Nickelodeon show. I watched that religiously back then. I started over from season 1 all the way to the end repeatedly. And I could probably quote some of my favorite episodes word for word. It was just around the time that the foot stuff started like getting exposed. And I was thought to myself, that is weird. But through the lens of a child, we don't really see these things as odd, because we're children. Our minds aren't developed to the point where we realize that, hey, that's not okay. And that's was essentially what this documentary pointed out and exposed, was that they were kids back then. Those actors were kids, and they were preyed upon, and they were manipulated, and they were victim blamed. It just shows how much power that people have in several type of industries. Because one thing this also pointed out was not only the person's singular influence, but influence it had on people around them in the same and similar type of positions. There's no way that you have all these victims coming forward about similar situations and you see weird things going on, but yet you defend them and try to make them seem like they were the ones that was manipulated and not the kids. You see the logic that we're kind of operating on here? You think kids manipulated, influenced, and tempted you? Tempted them? What? It does not make sense at all. But this documentary is going to be one of but this documentary is going to, let's say, start a domino effect, because it's not just Nickelodeon, it's not just Disney Channel, it's not just Cartoon Network, maybe, but there are a lot of this type of stuff happening in the world that doesn't get the exposure or the attention that it needs, because there's many stories like this, and there's probably still going to be many stories like this as long as people don't do anything about it. As long as people continue to defend this behavior, victim blame, and have people like the creator, shout out to Jeanette McCurdy, you just don't defend these type of people, because that ensues the type of behavior. But that's exactly what they want, because there's no way you have many, like I said, many victims coming forward, and you still give this person a job. You give these people opportunities to work on a different show, different network. You cutting them check, like it just doesn't add up. And I don't know if I have kids in the future, I don't know if I'm even gonna have them watch the shows I used to watch. Have them watch the channels I used to watch. Because in me doing that, I have a responsibility as their parent to show them the reality of what happened in the background. And I'm essentially glad that this came forward, because this is, like I said, it's going to start a domino effect, and it's going to have many people coming forward with their stories, and it's going to show you a lot of what Hollywood is like, a lot of what child actors go through. It may just, it's going to show a lot. And I look forward to seeing what it shows, because a lot of these people need to be jailed, charged, and they need to take responsibility for their actions and suffer the consequences, because people get away with things too long and they get comfortable. And when they get comfortable, they make YouTube videos with an actor that's clearly been paid off to back up their claim. It's no different than when people were writing letters to defend that guy. But it's two different people, two different situations, but same mentality, same power. Let's expose some more of these people and get them at the forefront and expose them. We need this. We can't just sit around. We can't just say, "Oh man, just let them mind their." We can't do that. Too many adults on those studios, in those studios, on those stages, at those sets. Just let it happen. Too many of them, and that's a problem. That's a problem.